when I usually go into battle, I always do this. Tear off my sleeves. I was going into a different kind of battle this time.
People's Court is in session. That's actually topical. I see why you did
Circuit Court.
People's Circuit Court
is in session.
Murray, first off, I just want to thank everybody for listening to Run, Hide, Fight. You know, we've been trying to work in a little bit more of modern movies. We still don't know how to make it work because the movies, they aren't what they used to be.
It doesn't help when it's a movie you can only get on a right-wing website.
Right-wing website, horrible access to it.
I'm glad you guys took my advice and didn't give them your money and instead listened to our review.
They absolutely deserve nobody's money.
We deserve money, but we gave it to you for free.
Yes. And the other thing that's just I love and hate about that movie, they went as far as to give it the most tasteless, controversial headline, nothing behind it. The characters are boring. They didn't punch up at all. Like, was there anything about the in the movie that was controversial? Dad shooting a kid.
Kid mocking a girl's Christianity.
Oh yeah, that was super controversial. I was really irked by the terrible Joker impression. Yeah. That really bothered me. I'm gonna
points for falling through a drop ceiling. That made it up for me.
Yeah, the hyper-realism we talk about a lot in that episode. Go listen to it.
That's the most realistic thing I've ever seen in any movie we've covered.
Yep.
Kudos.
But Murray, we're going into a movie today.
We're back where we belong.
This is our wheelhouse. It's 89, so it's still right there. It's right in the thick of it. Thick as Steve James' beautiful mustache. Ooh, I'm just thinking about it right now.
Feels good to be back. I think the last time we talked about Steve James is probably like American Ninja 3.
Yeah,
that was a
that
long
sounds right.
time ago.
And
it's always bittersweet though when we do it, Steve James, because there's so few Steve James.
It's so
movies.
few. We were on our good friend Stuart's podcast recently.
So if we're like tired, we're starting to flag. Blame Stuart.
Yeah, we talked to him for
blew
9.5 hours.
On his, we can't. You know us. We can't talk for at least minimum 2-3 hours to anybody.
Yeah. This is the joy of connecting with people,
right?
Really. It's so much fun.
Like this movie, we're going to learn the joy of connecting with people.
Yeah.
We're not different. We're all the same underneath our skins.
You just need to hand someone a Pepsi. Calms everything.
Right.
Suicidal tendencies. They did the song about it. Just give me a Pepsi. Caitlyn Jenner, Kylie Jenner, one of them gave a police officer a Pepsi. Black Lives Matter was ended right there. So racist people, you're on check here. Oh, that's fun that I threw racism in there because this movie is about racism. This is a movie tying it in with last week's movie, Run, Hide, Fight. Controversial premise to the movie. I had no idea what this movie was, as most movies we watch. You didn't really feed me a whole premise to this movie.
Said Steve James is great. That's all you need to know.
That's all. Well, you just say Steve James. I'm already watching.
Can I just say I've been really paying attention to voices lately because apparently one of our coolest listeners likes our voice. Well, hates your voice, loves my voice. And so I've been paying attention to voices. And I got to say, Steve James had I didn't really know he has a great voice.
Orator. He was beautiful.
It's very... He's very commanding, warm. You know, it's not intimidating.
Yes, he didn't do the weatherman black guy voice either. No. You know, where they kind of whiten it up a bit. He had this beautiful voice. Everything about Steve James. It's like, why didn't we get more of Steve James?
God needed him. He took him at 42.
God, so he's up there with God to be his wingman.
Yeah,
he's the. Look, he needs to be the star, people, not wingman. Even for God. I know people would be like, God's the ultimate. No. He needs to be the star.
Man was made in Steve James' image.
Yes.
And I'm going to go as far to say that I don't think there would be a Barack Obama without Steve James. I think Barack Obama patterned his whole life and his demeanor after Steve James, and that's why he's the first black president. Because Steve James would have been the first.
You
black
know what?
president.
We're not going to talk about his podcast because you don't plug podcasts on other podcasts.
I don't know.
That's a callback to another podcast that we just did, Stuart's podcast, which is a great podcast. Find his website in the show notes. And but he does that thing with Bruce Springsteen. I bet he talks about it all the time. I bet
You
most
mean
of
the
their episodes.
DWI Bruce Springsteen, the guy that should never be let near any Jeeps ever?
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah, fuck him.
So Murray, before you interrupted me, this movie ties
What'd
back
I
into
do?
Run, Hide, Fight because there's a premise that is unknown. But if you talk about it, people are like, "Oh shit, that's offensive." Because, well, I guess it's not offensive, but they might think it's kind of murky
What
waters.
isn't offensive?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And so this movie is about Steve James, who's AWOL. He runs away from MPs. He was being put in a Georgia.
Federal prison waiting to be court-martialed.
Yeah. And he escapes, and he goes into a troubled town where there's a
Called Riverbend.
Incredibly racist sheriff who is he just does whatever he pleases. And so that'll lead us into Sheriff Jake. Is he not one of the most interesting villains we've ever dealt with?
He's the ballsiest racist villain I've ever seen. He has a gun pointed at him, and he's still dropping N-bombs.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to point out, this is a period piece. It's set in 1966, so a lot of N-bombs in this movie. 'Cause that's the way people talk back then.
And it's the South, too.
Yeah, racist
So,
South.
oh, man.
This is on YouTube, by the way, if you want to see it. I think it's the only way you can see this movie.
I believe so. I couldn't find it anywhere else. So go in, check it out. Hear crazy-ass Sheriff Jake just throwing N-word everywhere. It's that they get the subtle racism that still exists in the South, where they're just kind of like the Vince McMahon racism, where black people,
Nonchalant racism.
yeah, black people have really hard heads and like to dance.
Well, there are two kinds of black people, according to Sheriff Jake.
Yeah,
There's the thugs, and there's smiling and dancing, and there's nothing in between.
nothing in between. So Sheriff Jake obviously is an incredibly offensive character.
Meant to be, yeah.
He's meant to be.
We're not supposed to root for him.
And guess what, everybody? He gets his
Well,
comeuppance.
Donald Trump probably roots for him.
Yeah. He gets his comeuppance because, that's what should happen. We should be squashing this, unlike the Green Book, where they try to make it like everyone's
Back
just
to
fun.
the Green Book.
Fucking hate that movie. Stuart's going to be happy to hear that. I just can't let this one go.
We should point out that this is not a canon movie, but it's damn near close.
It is,
because we
yeah.
have Steve James, one of his only two starring roles. Of course, the other one's Street Hunter, which we already did. Check it out.
Yep, check it out.
And it's directed by the man who gave us Revenge of the Ninja, who gave us American Ninja, who gave us Breaking.
I got to blast off on Sam here.
Sam Furstenberg? That's what we're talking about.
Talking about Sam Furstenberg because he saw Michael Dudikoff and said, that is the American Ninja.
I don't think he had anything to do. I think that was Menachem
He was
Golan.
quoted saying that.
Oh, he has a hard-on for duty, though.
That was in that book
Oh.
that you have.
Okay.
That was one of the quotes in there was from Sam Furstenberg saying, I saw Michael Dudikoff, and I said, that's the
Can't be
American
perfect.
Ninja. That was clearly like he saw three dudes. One of them was me doing the Chicago accent, and he said, oh, no. And then Michael Dudikoff stepped up next, and he's like, that guy's perfect. It's just because I was the ugly girl next to the like the five girl,
Mediocre girl, yeah.
So that's how we got the job, I think.
Makes sense to me.
So, perfect team. Furstenberg, Steve James.
Back together again.
And one other thing we have to include in this episode, because, of course, whenever we do a mainly black cast, we have to point out when we have a good white person and a little...
There's only one.
There's only ever one. And we call it, of course, one of the good ones.
Yeah.
And so we have one of the good ones in this movie, Cook. But he's kind of weird for me. Like, I don't know if you 100% agree with me on this.
He's not that brave of a white guy. Like, he wants to help black people as long as it inconvenience him.
Like, he does it like slyly. Like, he'll go behind people's back and be like, can I help you out? And then when it's in front of the whole crowd, he'll be like, yeah, they shouldn't have done this. Like, there's the moment when he says, guys, I'm all for you and everything, but this isn't the way to do it. Like, I don't know.
Playing both sides?
He's a little playing both sides, and he irritated me.
Well, I want to point out, people are probably wondering, why did we start this episode with the People's Court theme? Because the music is so bad in this movie. It sounds like People's Court. It's that dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
And it's like the worst Casio keyboard they're playing. They're actually just playing the pre-programmed shit you get when you get a Casio keyboard. Like, not even original beats. It's just like, bum, 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 bum. Bomb.
We'll see. I am going to try. There's a couple things I want to try to grab from this movie, because if you're going to pitch this movie to somebody, you pitch Sheriff Jake and you see some crazy racism, and then you pitch the montage, because people talk about Rocky IV's montage. Well, all the Rocky montages. But this movie has a montage where Steve James teaches people how to make a headband and rip their sleeves off.
Right. We get the. Everyone always wondered, why does Steve James cut off his sleeves? Well, we get the explanation in this movie.
That's like, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the ultimate question for the universe, and everything. 42. No. How did Steve James cut his sleeves off? Why, rather, did Steve James cut his sleeves? See, man. I'm so excited to talk about Steve James,
Right.
Murray. I think we should do
let's
it.
get to the trailer then. I have nothing prepared for this.
I'm really interested. Is there going to be a trailer? Because this movie's
there is a trailer.
okay.
So, hey, sit right back, get on your raft, take a trip down the Riverbend. Oh.
Riverbend, Georgia, 1966. A timeless community where nothing changes.
There'll be some trouble if you come to town this morning. Buggers, I'm warning you!
Can't just go on killing Negroes. Times have changed. Now, we all know what happened to Marcus. Now, there's the example of a man going to the law. And God damn it, look what happened to him.
Now come on out here, boy. I want to talk to you.
I'm doing the talking. I'm going to take care of this now.
All right, goddammit, get back. All of you, I swear I feel it.
If you really are what you say you are, help us protect ourselves. Or show us how to do it.
I don't ever want to hear the words boy, nigger, or colored used again. Understood?
Only one man can teach them to fight.
Next time we meet, the town will be ours. You people are now our hostages.
We really don't know what the situation in the town is. We can't get close enough to find out.
We get word from you that you have located the hostages. We're going to roll over that front line.
I've located and freed the hostages. They're in the big church. They're all safe. You can move in now.
Margaret Avery.
You gonna get out of here?
Steve James. Tony Franks.
Kill me, goddammit!
Two men locked in combat.
You think you bad? This has been a long time coming. Come on!
Riverbend. The battle for freedom has just begun.
All right, we're opening up. We've got a character who's unnamed coming out of a dilapidated White House, and he's going to see...
The house is painted white. It's not a White House.
Yeah. Good call.
His wife, looking all bedraggled, hair all messy, doesn't care about her appearance at all. He's got no shoes on.
Yeah, Belle.
We learned his name is Marcus, and he's going to the circuit judge.
Yep, circuit judge is coming
to bring
into town.
Papers. They didn't really explain what was on these papers.
No, he just kept saying, "I got the evidence right here," and this is like Neil Breen level. I've got the evidence on this.
He did have he had a 13-sided die because black people aren't allowed in this city to have a 21-sided. They're like, you're gonna have less than half.
Okay,
13, and the unluckiest number of all.
There would be more than half in the case of 13 or 21, but okay.
You're right. And so, math wasn't my thing. That's why I'm doing podcasts.
Yeah.
So he's all crippled and shit. He's all limping, and he's gonna walk to town. They live on the outskirts of Riverbend.
It's 1966, so the truck. They even brought it up. The truck they have does not run.
It's true. And so he's walking there, and then we meet the villain of this movie, Sheriff Buford T. Jake. And he's whittling. I thought whittling you're supposed to try to make something. He's just cutting wood.
Well, he is just that big of a piece of shit. He's just I think he likes to do this thing where he's like, well, this guy was a vampire, and that's why I killed him with a wooden stake. So I think he was preparing a wooden stake.
So he's like on the porch of the sheriff's department, kicking back, leaning back in his chair. We see what was the deputy's name?
I don't know. What's the Andy Griffith character?
Barney Fife.
Let's call him Barney.
Barney, he's just deep throating a cigar. You know he's got some issues with black people. He wants some black dick in his mouth.
Yeah.
And he's like, Sheriff, doesn't that look like Marcus coming into town? What are those papers? He's like, I don't like black man carrying papers.
What are those papers?
Well, that's what they said. They didn't say what was in his papers. You heard, I guess once every 2 years the circuit judge comes to town, and you can give him papers. And that's going to do something. It's going to help black people.
Yeah, and the circuit judge, by the way, is only coming in for like the weekend or something, and then he's popping right back out of town. So this is their window.
Traveling circuit judge.
It's a traveling circuit
He's doing
judge.
the circuit.
He's doing the circuit.
That's what. Now you know what that means, people. So he's like, there ain't no black man. He didn't say black man. He's dropping the N-bombs.
Guys, yeah, so many.
He's like,
this is an N-word warning for you if you do watch this movie. You're going to hear it about... It's basically Django Unchained.
Yeah, I think Tarantino did say this movie inspired a lot of Django.
Yeah,
Unchained.
it makes sense.
I mean, what's his face? What's that guy's name? Who's Django?
Oh,
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
He wishes he was Steve James.
Yeah.
And I bet you if Steve James was alive, I'm pretty sure Quentin Tarantino was a fan and he would have put him in that role.
Dude, oh my God, can you think about that?
Imagine
he would have made Steve James movie.
He would have made Steve James a star that he deserves to be.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction with Steve James in it. Oh,
instead of Samuel Jackson.
No, they would have been like, no, John Travolta, you're gone. Steve James, Samuel Jackson. Oh, it just blew my mind.
God damn you, God, for taking us from him. Taking us from us, I should say.
This is why we can't do the rest of the Revelation roads, because we can't go back into Christianity knowing that God took Steve James from us.
Right.
And, he had so many more movies to make.
Mine!
Oh.
Took Steve James.
God is a little girl, clearly.
Yeah, jealous.
Yeah.
And so we see Mark and ain't no black folk gonna bring any papers to my town.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
boy, what you doing? He's like, I've had enough of you, sir. These are the papers, and I'm going to give them to the circuit. You are not going to give them papers, boy. And he goes, indeed I will. And he turns around, and then immediately, once the cop sees a black man walking away from him.
And by the way, everybody in town has gathered around. They're watching this because it's a big ruckus. And they saw Marcus come into town, and he was just throwing those papers in the air. Like he just didn't care. And everybody was paying attention. Cook was there as well, just like, I don't know if you should do this, Marcus. The sheriff is in one of those moods again. He's talking about vampires everywhere. He's got a new whittled steak ready to go, sharp, with a silver tip.
And when a black man turns his back on a cop, that means you can kill the guy. You can shoot him in the back.
By the way, he is about 35 feet away from him.
Yeah.
He has turned his back. He starts walking away. The sheriff says, don't you turn your back on me. I'm going to arrest you. I'm standing my own ground. And then
I'm feeling threatened.
Oh.
Bam! Shoots him right in the back. Kills him. He goes up. He was going to shoot him in the face after that, but then I think it was Cook was like, okay, it's enough. He's dead.
Yeah. I think Cook went over to see if Marcus
Circuit
was
Judge
okay.
obviously heard nothing of this. It's like he must be this place where Run Hide Fight happened, where no one hears gunshots.
Nobody hears it. Well, he had not rolled into town
Was
yet.
Run Hide Fight set in Riverbend, Georgia?
I think it was.
Good.
No, the circuit judge wasn't in town yet.
Oh,
he was still on his way. But all the townsfolk, you think, would talk about it. You think Cook might go, if he really is one of the good ones, you think he'd go to town and say, this whole town just watched the sheriff murder an innocent man from 45 yards away, said he was... Tell him the whole story. No, but no.
Well, the
no one
sheriff
does.
was like, you saw it. He's going to pull a gun on me.
Yeah.
You saw it. I saw him go for his waistband. And you're going to sign some affidavits saying you saw that. And Cook's like, I may not do that.
Yeah.
Good day, sir.
I will sign it, but I want you to know I'm doing it in distress. I'm not happy with you. So he makes Barney take everybody
And
inside.
I want to say something. It's so glad that we've left these times behind where, cops were shooting black men in the back. I'm glad we don't have to deal with it anymore. That's a thing of the past.
We don't, yeah. I can't imagine in today's Discord on the social medias and everything, if we had to deal with, level of racism like this, it would just blow everything up. You know, you would end up with like a Donald Trump as president or something crazy like that. But I'm just thankful we live in the time of Steve James right now. Let's go.
Well, I need a taste of Steve James because he is.
Oh, Murray, did you hear yourself right there?
No, I didn't.
The Taste of Steve James. Guys, coming soon from Mermadden Productions, The Taste of Steve James.
Is it a very black coffee to go do the coffee? This one gets you hyped.
Oh, my God. It could be that. Or I'm thinking even we get into the Bronson sex wear again, where it's like you apply
10 inches of midnight?
It's like one of those things where it's like body chocolate or something, and you lick it off your lover, and oh, my God, you get the taste of Steve James while you're fucking.
Next week, we might have a new product for you. But see, this is why we ramble, people, because the ideas just come out.
We just get high on our own farts.
This is how we ramble, Jack. You're not listening. So we're in a car. It's an MP. It's a military car. We see our man Steve in the back seat with two other black gentlemen, and they're being driven by an MP.
Just like the A-Team, they're in trouble for a crime they didn't commit.
Exactly. Well, they did commit a crime, but it's not really a crime as far as I'm concerned.
Wait, wasn't this the same crime the A-Team commit, though, where they were given a direct order, but it was like, hey, murder these innocent people. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that.
I don't remember.
I think it was.
But anyway, they're driving. Apparently, they're back from Nam, and they're being taken to a federal prison to be held for there's military jails and shit. I don't know. It's just a way to get Steve James to this fucking town.
It was a very big stretch.
Even they wrenching is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
like one of his friends. He's Major Sam Quinton.
Yes,
Sam Quinton, and his buddies Butch and Tony. His I don't know,
two friends.
They're whatever. They're I don't know what commanding. What's the commanding officer who is the
I
subordinates? We'll say
sure.
And they're getting ready. They are getting ready to be court-martialed. And they're going to be held in this Georgia prison until such things happen.
I don't remember if this was Butch or Tony's idea. I think it was Tony because Butch is kind of a wuss. He just does
Butch
whatever.
Is loyal to Quentin.
Yes,
Tony is a loose cannon.
Tony's the loose cannon here, so I'm pretty sure this was Tony's idea.
No, it was. I think it was Steve's. I think it was.
Oh, you think it was Quentin's?
Quentin's like, hey, we're about to roll up on this. Can I have a cigarette? One last cigarette before I go? And they're like, sure. Well, he says actually Tony. He's asking for Tony. He's like, Tony would like a cigarette. Or no, it was Tony. And I mix them up. Tony's got a beard, and Butch has a mustache. Butch sounds like a guy who'd be more insubordinate, though. That's what it confused me.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's just. Anyways, they start a little fire. They stop the truck.
Well, there happens to be
a newspaper,
some crumbled up podcast notes on the floor. They were going over because they were going to be guests on our show, and they just light it on fire and smoke and hey, guys, stop the car. There's fire. Brilliant plan, Quentin. And they stop the car. And then Steve James does his patented American Ninja moves. Like, don't we be doing this shit in 66? He's like, pyah! Roundhouse the motherfuckers. And they take off.
Yeah, and we catch back up to them. They're sitting by a little creek, and they're splashing themselves with water.
I love Steve. I love all of Steve's body motions. He's crouching like a panther.
Yes.
They're all drinking. He's like...
Yeah. He's always ready. He's on that.
That's why we got that video, because I did a great impression of Steve James crouch.
It would only been acceptable for OnlyFans because we're in the nude as we record this. As always,
we like to be comfortable.
You can't talk Steve James without, I mean, I even dyed my mustache black for this because that's not too far.
Did you notice that Steve, I think he was getting into the period piece, his mustache was a little smaller because he usually has that gigantic mustache.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed it, but I didn't notice it because I was like, something's off about Steve. Yeah. That's what it was.
A little skinnier.
It was. So they're sipping on that creek water, which is probably going to give them horrible.
Tony's like, why did I ever listen to you, Quentin? We're always getting in trouble. And Quentin just takes charge. He's like, look, I'm right. Listen to what I'm going to say. We're going to get out of this.
So they hear a dog, and they go running after the dog bark or something.
I thought they were running from the dog.
I have no clue. I just heard a dog bark, and they take off running, and that's when we cut over, and all the black townsfolk are getting together for a nice little meeting at night to discuss this whole situation with Marcus.
Right. And they're like, some of them are like, we got to fight, like the Black Panthers, man. We can't. Fuck this shit. And they're like, another guy's like, wait, man, they got way more guns than us. We're going to get killed. They're discussing it, And just as they're about to come to some kind of agreement, a boy, Sheriff Jake, rolls in.
He's not our boy.
Well, I don't mean it
literally.
And he's like, "Hey there, boy, what y'all doing there?"
He rolls with the crew of like 8 people, and I'm pretty sure Barney was there. But then I think the other 6 were just townsfolk because they were wearing suspenders and shit.
Well, they're a posse. He deputized them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
but
in the city, it was the same thing in Mayberry. I'm glad you brought up Andy Griffith. Could 2 guys police like this crime, take a day off? Like, I'm sorry, I can't deal with crime. It's my day off. Like, there's 2 people in charge of like protecting this whole town.
I mean, we're not talking about L.A. in the 80s where there's 500 people. How many people?
Riverbend. There's at least 5,000 people living in Riverbend,
people.
Georgia, in 1966.
It's amazing. Like, if you watch this movie, if you're just impressed by good camera work, shots, and everything, the end of this movie, how they get 5,000 people in that town square,
beautiful crane shot,
and it's perfectly split: 2,500 white folk, 2,500 black folk. It's amazing, and yet the 2 police forces are 2 white people. It's weird how that worked out.
So Sheriff Jake's like, "You guys are up to something, ain't y'all?" And they're like, "We're not up to anything. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." "He went for a gun! Fire!" And they just unload on this house.
Oh, God, man. And it's getting scary. Everyone's shooting. All the hillbillies that are deputized are just yelling out all their slurs, too. Get that. What was a. Yeah! Oh, wait, no. I don't remember what movie I'm even referencing. Why am I doing this?
I don't know.
Why do I do this?
Suffice it to say, they're trying to shut black people down from protecting themselves. It's all about fear, dude. This culture of fear they're trying to create.
Yeah, exactly. Got to keep them
It's
down.
been working for 200 years or 300 years, however long it was.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, this is bumming me out. Let's get back to our man Steve James.
Yeah, perfect. Sam Furstenberg knows how to put a film together because we're all bummed out seeing this awful sheriff yelling out racial slurs, murdering people judiciously, apparently. Then you just give us that sweet kiss of Steve. The taste of Steve James.
That should be his memoirs, The Taste of Steve James. So they find him and Tony and Butch find a farmhouse. It just happens to be Marcus's widow's house. And
very convenient.
Yes, very convenient. And he sees a young boy like with a fishing rod. He tries to like bond with him.
I like how they stake out the house too because they're army men. So Steve James is coordinating with his boys. They're using hand signals and everything. They're surrounding the house, making sure everything's clear. Right. And then he's like, okay, it's all clear. And he just walks up, opens the little white picket fence, and "Hey there, son. That's a nice fishing pole. You and your old man got to go fishing?" But before he could get any answers out of the kid, Belle shows up. And she's got You think she would be cooler about it, but she's on edge.
She's playing hard to get.
She's playing hard to get.
She sees that mustache. She's like, "I met the man of my dreams." But
Yeah.
Play cool.
And mind you, she lost her husband yesterday.
Yes.
And you already see that she's falling for Steve James.
Once you get an opportunity to fuck Steve James, you do not let that get away.
Well, it's just... If we had this movie in 4K, if we had it on Laserdisc, you could probably see the essence, the taste of Steve James just in the air. The
flavor of Steve James.
We've learned so much about particulates over COVID and everything. Like, the particulates probably would just get you going. So, I get it.
Well, we all get it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Evening, ma'am." It's the afternoon. He says evening for some reason. He's like...
That's just how people talked in 66, Murray.
Do you, what do you say, like, just mind if we hide out because,
Yeah, he's trying to get her to let them in, and she's, like you said, playing hard to get. Like, we don't trust...
Does she have a gun on him? I think she has a shotgun.
She does have,
okay.
You know what? She does not have a gun on him. He gets the gun or no, maybe she did. Anyways, we keep doing this. We got to stop doing this.
Yeah,
so she is not willing to let him in, and then Tony, in the distance, actually it was Butch, spots a cop car on the horizon, and he goes, "Oh, the fucking cops are coming." So Steve's like, "Well, fuck it. No more time for casualties. No pleasantries here." And they just force their way into Belle's house. And in the middle of the living room, as we slowly see the cop winding down the road and appearing in the front window, Belle is like begrudgingly, "Okay, I'll help you out." Because I think Steve told her straight up.
I think she sees the sheriff who killed her husband. So she's like, "All right, if this guy hates you, I like you."
Yeah.
So the sheriff's like, "Evening, Miss Belle. Shame about having to murder your husband like that.
I gotta tell you, it was real bad, very stupid of him
Blame the victim.
to charge after me with assault like he did. Everybody saw it. Everyone's talking about it in town.
And he's like, no, that's out of the way. I feel bad about that, but have you seen any of these African Americans run around
There's
here?
3 of them running around. They escaped from the military police.
And she's like, I haven't seen anybody. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
How about a gentleman? Are you seeing any gentlemen? Because I gotta tell you, I got a dick that won't quit.
And you are a widow.
I see a match made in heaven here.
And she's like, get off my property. And he's like, all right, but if you want this little tiny white dick, you know where to go. So he gets in his car, takes off, and then Steve wipes his brow. And she's like, look, if that motherfucker doesn't like you, I love you, so you can stay. But only for a night.
Yeah. And in the shack out back.
And like Steve's like a gentleman, we can do that.
Ma'am, I appreciate you for your service. All right, so we're going back to the sheriff. It's nighttime.
Terrorizing the black community nonstop.
This might be one, like, all of his maneuvers are incredibly ballsy. We were talking about it in the opening segment. This is one of the ballsiest things he does.
He is the epitome of white entitlement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, big time.
White privilege. He rolls up on the roadhouse for the one place of solace the black people in town can have, where they can just let their hair down and party and dance. He's got to ruin that. He's got to ruin their fun, dude.
It's 8 p.m. It's not even like 2 in the morning or anything. It's early in the night. The night is still just a puppy. And he rolls in. What's with all this loud music? What are you guys doing in here? What are you celebrating?
You and your hippity-hoppity music.
Oh, God.
And they're like, what? And they're like, I'm shutting the place down.
You're disobeying curfew. I don't want a gathering of you folk more than 2.
And then he's like eyeing one of the girls there. She's at least 17, the most.
Yeah.
He's Matt Gaten, sir. I could take you across the state line, honey.
Oh, yeah. Perfect Matt Gates age.
And her brother Mike notices that. He's like, hey, we ain't doing anything wrong. Mike, I swear I thought he was a spitting image of Antonio Fargas, a.k.a.
big
Huggy
time. I didn't see it.
I looked it up. He wasn't.
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't him. I thought that's his son, a brother. No, he's not even related to Antonio Fargas.
The only, okay, we've built this up so well because we know Sheriff has huge balls and he's ripe to murder anybody at any second. But the fact, because he rolls out a big old boy, and Mike throws it back in his face, and he's like, "It's 8 o'clock. We can hippity hop if we want to." Boy, he threw the boy in his face. So we were both thinking the same thing. Like, fuck, Mike, you're about to get, something's about to happen to you.
No, he just punches Mike's lights out.
Just punches Mike's lights out.
And he goes, ain't nobody here even wearing a mask. This is, I will not stand for this. Have you been vaccinated? Let me see your cards. And they're like, we're not allowed to. We're black. They won't give us the vaccine. I don't care. That's no excuse, boy.
So after he punches out Mike, like you would expect, everybody's in a frenzy, and they all take a step towards the sheriff, but the sheriff grabs Mike's sister.
His sister, yeah.
And
Pauline.
puts a girl, Pauline, puts a gun to her head.
Yeah, takes her hostage.
Yeah. He's like, all right, you guys just...
Y'all ain't gonna do nothing.
Calm down. Remember, Fat Man, because the bartender's name's Fat Man.
Yes, it is Fat Man.
Remember, Fat Man, it's time to close down. Curfew is in order.
And he just walks backwards out of there. Oh, I'll kill her. I swear I will.
Yeah.
Takes her to this cop car, drives her to the old abandoned Sparks factory. They got shut down, put all the people out of work.
Good happens in an abandoned factory.
And this wasn't even. I was shocked it wasn't on the river, because usually bad shit happens on the river.
Yeah, maybe on that. Maybe we just didn't see the side. And
then he looks at her, wipes some fucking chaw off his lip.
Oh, God. Oh.
And then he just licks her like Jabba the Hutt licks Princess Leia.
God damn.
And then goes to town on her brutally.
You're painting such a beautiful, visceral picture here. It's making my skin crawl.
I don't know if it's beautiful, but it's visceral.
Well, I just mean the details are going into Murray. Work of art.
He didn't pull a Goldblum. He fortunately didn't get to see his crack.
Oh, God.
But we know he's going in for the attack. and he's just slobbering all over this poor woman.
When you bring up
Sam Furstenberg, thank you for showing restraint. He cut away. He's like, no, nobody can handle this.
I mean, when you talk ass and legs, I just think about what Joe would think about their ass and legs. So,
you would not appreciate
don't worry, everybody. We're preparing a whole thing with Joe Coleman where he's going to be rating body parts. So we got that locked and loaded in the future. Anyway, so I
don't think he'd like Sheriff Jake's body at all.
No, no one does. No, his body.
That's why he has to rape people.
His body represents the evil that his soul contains. So we go back over Quentin. It's the next morning. He's learning a little bit more. He's out front.
He's in disguise. He's got a flannel shirt, some blue jeans on, some dungarees.
Fits him perfectly, like a glove.
And he's just nonchalantly shining this long black shotgun. He's like letting you know what's going on.
The taste of Steve James.
I know. It's just wafting up on her.
This man starred in 2 movies.
And one of them he had to do himself to get made.
Fuck.
People were jealous, dude. People were just jealous in Hollywood.
When all these idiot white people learn about systemic racism, this is going to be the proof right here. Steve James was the star of 2 movies, and then that'll be what finally gets them to understand it.
So he's just shining the rod of his gun, and Belle's taking notice. She knows what's up. You notice she started her hair's done now because she was a slob before when she was married. And now she's got her hair's all did, and she's
got like the outfit where it's like she's got the dress
Sunday
where it's just
best,
Sunday's
the
best.
fuck me pumps. She's got it all.
She's got
she ain't wearing no Payless shoes. It's called out the taffy. And yeah, she's looking good because she's got some reason to look good. It's Steve fucking James.
Oh yeah, and
I want to point out I give her credit because her fucking husband he looked like the fucking drawing of Uncle Ben on the rice. He was like this fucking scrawny, balding.
He looked old. He looked tired.
He looked like Uncle Ben.
He was hobbling along. So it was like, what's with this marriage? Clearly, she wasn't happy.
Yeah, obviously, his dick didn't work. You can tell. It's by the way he blimped.
100%. She only got that one kid 10 years ago. So you know it's not working. I don't know what's happening with this man, but clearly it was a loveless marriage. It was probably just something.
So while he's pitching woo to Belle, we see in the background our boys Tony and Butch sawing a log, literally. And Butch and Tony's like, man, he's always fucking all the bitches.
Yeah,
I'm sick of this shit. I'm just gonna take off. I'm out of here. And he's like, Butch is like, listen, he's never did us wrong before. He's been the greatest fucking commanding officer we ever had. He cares about us. I'm gonna do what he says, and you need to listen. And he's like, well, all right, I will, but I'm telling you.
Oh no, Tony will not be shut up. It takes a stiff, and I love this about this movie. We love this opening line. Well, this beginning line, I don't know what to call it, but we love this because he puts an end to Tony's bickering by going, look, man, and we know this from Legion of Iron, you know, look, man. That's that.
Well, because he used that speech because he notices that Tony was getting jealous. He's like, pussy might get you hard, but makes your brain soft. Your brain's soft right now because you know fucking everyone wants to fuck Quentin.
Yeah.
Look at him. I want to fuck him.
Yeah. Anyway, so as they're sitting out front, Fat Man rolls up with one other guy, Robin.
Yeah, Fat Man Robin. Another dad joke for a second week in a row.
Yeah.
So Fat Man and Robin show up, and they're like. They only have one. Apparently, they only have one gun. All the black people have one gun. They share.
In the scene we saw earlier, where the black folk had gathered, like there was 15 guns in the house.
Got taken away. Confiscated.
Oh, that! My God! All right. See, this is why people need us. Investigative journalists of action.
That's how they keep black people down. They deprive them of the right to bear arms.
Yeah, no one said anything about their Second Amendment.
So they're like, Belle, can we borrow your gun to kill Sheriff Jake? And Quentin, he's lurking in the background. Like,
he's snickering as he's whittling a piece of wood himself.
I read the scene the same way. I like how you pointed out. He offers some assistance. Like, well, that's not the way to do it. You could probably
because they're like, we're gonna go kill the sheriff, and yeah, Steve is just like amateurs.
He's like, I have the perfect plan. I'm not gonna tell you it, but I do have the perfect plan. And then he just kind of walks back off, starts whittling again. He's just teasing them.
And you think, Belle, we might linger on this scene for a minute longer. Stops abruptly as Steve leaves the shot because that's what a good star does,
right.
you know. And we go to that night, and Steve's got a whole new outfit on now. Where he's getting his clothes, because we saw rickety old Uncle Ben a minute ago, and suddenly he's got beautiful form-fitting, and now he's got a sleeveless
of course
shirt, because that's what you don in order to get a lady.
Right, he's baring his arms, and she's liking what she's seeing.
Oh my God, she's got the fresh brewed iced tea, beautiful ice cubes, perfect squares.
I hope it ain't sweet tea. I hate sweet tea.
Murray, did I say sweet tea?
Well, this is the South. I'm just saying.
I know, but did I stutter? These people have taste. They know sweet tea is bullshit.
And they're on the veranda, the porch, with the swing.
Beautiful porch swing, crickety wood, just every soothing sound you could think of.
And he finally reveals what happened, why he was going to get court-martialed. It's like, see...
Belle is also on her third hair look of this movie, too.
Yeah. She looks more perfect each fucking scene. She's getting more hotter and sexier.
When you get that close to Steve James, it's just everything. The taste,
your natural beauty just comes out.
The taste of Steve James.
And he's like, let me tell you why I'm here. And he explains, like, they got court-martialed. He's like, you want to know why I got court-martialed? Because I was a Nam, and we went into this village. We killed all the men, but there was a lot of women and children there. And I'm not a baby murderer. But our commanding officer called in and said, kill everyone. And I said, fuck no, I'm not going to do that. And they said, well, you've been remanded for your authority. Put Bush in charge. Bush is like, I'm not going to do it either. Well, fuck you too. Put Tony in charge. Even Tony's hot-headed as he is. He's like, I'm not killing kids.
Yeah.
I draw the line there. And he's like, so we thought that was it. And then we hear these jets coming. And they just drop napalm right on this village. We're there. We're fucking in this village. And they just drop it and kill everybody. Somehow we escape because we're perfect.
And just like our audience right now, everybody is just getting ready for Steve James' dick. And that's what Belle's doing. She's just hearing this, and she's like thriving a little bit. She's like, oh, shit, I got it. How do I take this shirt?
Well,
that's what she's thinking. She's like, how do I take that shirt off?
She hasn't heard anything. Steve is like... his heart out to her, like, I'm anguishing over this. I saw children die, and she's looking at his fucking crotch.
It's a hot summer day. This tea is on it. You get the taste of Steve James with a little hint of iced tea. It's too much.
She gets a taste of Steve James. He gets a taste of Belle because he grabs her hand and kisses her lightly on the hand. And then we just, once again, Furstenberg, he's a romantic, so we just cut away. We know he just plowed the fucking shit out of her on that. The fucking, her son's bedroom window's right next to the fucking swing.
The sun disappears, right? Because I don't remember seeing the sun ever again.
No, it was at nighttime, yeah.
No, I mean in the rest of the movie, Murray. I don't remember seeing him again.
Yes. Oh, the sun? Oh,
I'm
thinking of the S-U-N sun. Like, what are you
damn.
talking about? Because I don't care about the kid either.
I know. It's just funny how
he does disappear. Yeah, he does.
He disappears.
Well, she was like, look, he's moving in. You got to move out, kid. There's not enough room for two men in this house. So he had to get the step.
Until you learn how to be a man, you're out. Anyways, we go into the next morning. Tony is being just a rebellious fuck again. He wants to go. See, his whole thing is just like, I've already stuck my neck out there. I'm done sticking my neck out there.
And what did it get me? It got me, like, I'm going to go to prison.
Yeah, exactly. He defended this country. People still hate him. He realizes it. He's like, I just want to go be near my people, like his family.
Go back to Chicago.
Yeah, to be with his family and friends, and so we can fight the good fight against the whitey, up there. He's like, I don't want to be here defending for these people who don't give a shit about me.
And then as calm, cool, and collected as Quentin is, he's like, look, brother, I understand. But what if I told you I have a plan to get us out of this trouble? If I could get the media to come here to see what's going on in this town, because it's not happening anywhere else in the South in 1966. This is a isolated incident where black people are being terrorized by the white people. If I can get us press, I can tell our story, and they can tell. And once the press hears about this, they can't. The army's gonna have to fucking let us go. There's no fucking way.
It's just like the A-Team, man. It was like Murdoch just giving out one of his beautiful plans. I love it when a plan comes together. Tony's just like, fuck. That's such a good plan. I got to see it through to execution. I can't leave because, how do you live after, something like that?
So we cut to the cemetery, a plot of land out back. I don't know what.
It was freshly dug. I can tell you that
literally,
much.
Marcus has been dead for 2 or 3 days.
It's 3 days. I keep track of these things, Murray.
Much like Jesus, he's been
Yes.
dead for 3 days, but he ain't coming back.
Yeah.
And she don't want him back.
No.
Because she's like, look, she's talking to his graves. Look, I've moved on.
Yeah.
It's been 3 days.
It has been 3 days.
I'm in love. I'm in love. Not the kind of love I had with you, which was really not love at all.
Yeah.
I was kind of stuck with you in a loveless marriage because your dick didn't work.
Mhm.
I'm in love with a real man now. And I just want to let you know, it's not you, it's me. He's dead, Bill. You don't need to do this, okay? But she's just letting him know, like, I'm in love with a real man now. I don't need you anymore. And she spits on the grave. That was a little too much for me. Spit on
It's
the
a
grave.
little far.
I mean, she could have shit on it, I guess. But
She is totally high on Steve James.
Well, who would? It's the taste of Steve.
It's-
Once you have a taste, you want the whole thing.
I mean, at least they didn't go full Jacques from, what's it called? God damn, I can't think of
Angeltown?
Angeltown and fuck on the grave. Because Steve probably be like, yeah, sure.
My God, I forgot about that. Ugh.
But instead, we go to the church. The old, this is,
The
the
one
black
place
church.
where black people were allowed to gather back in the racist old days.
Mhm.
And that's because the sheriff is so paranoid. He's like, oh, they're planning some shit at that church.
Yeah,
They're
he is
doing.
completely paranoid. And in fact, I mean, we finish up a song and everything, and then Gus comes out and he starts telling the everyone in town about the plan. Funny how they fit 2,500 people into this tiny little
God
church.
works in mysterious ways.
That's exactly right, Murray. That's why Revelation Road 2's got to be made.
It was not 2,500 because the son, he was gone, and Bell was fucking Steve. So it was 2,498 people.
Well, they lost 2 people, but then they gained 3 people, so they're net positive 1.
I'm just saying they weren't at the church. Bell was fucking
Oh,
Steve,
you're right.
And son was gone. Marcus Jr. was gone.
Oh, okay, good call. So, yeah. Anyways, Gus starts telling the whole town about the plan and everything, but of course
Well, he wants to get a plan. He's just like, we can't take this shit anymore.
Well, no, he heard about Steve's plan. I thought.
Did he?
Yeah, because he was saying, guys, we got these guys who are going to help us out because this is how they go to the woods. End up in the woods in a
Okay.
minute here. So he's telling.
So the sheriff was right.
He was trying. Yeah, no, he's 100% right actually. Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious when you're such a fucking asshole that the town's going to revolt against you. But
he's got to get order, so he shows up.
Yeah, Jake, just his
Puts
racist.
in a nice big plug of chaw on his lip.
His race senses were tingling, so he's like, I gotta go threaten some black folk. Rolls up in the church, interrupts Gus in the middle of his plan and everything, and yeah.
He's them day you something, y'all black folk. My daddy told me before he left this shitty Arthur, the only good African American is a dead American.
And he is grabbing Gus by the collar, and he's telling him that. And so the other thing he adds to it is, I don't bother with people's names unless I'm about to bury them. Gus.
Ooh, wow.
See what he did there?
That's a threat.
So he either calls you the N-word when he's fine with you living, but then he calls you by your name when he's about to murder you.
Right.
This sheriff's fucking over the top
he's a
crazy.
terrorist, man.
Yeah.
It worked for him so far. So the next day, Quentin finally gets the whole every young black man of a legal age.
Yep.
He's gonna train him, and he
Yep.
gives us an inspiring speech. And he's like, "Look, I'm gonna make you a killing force. That's what I do. But there will be absolutely no N-bombs, no mention of boy, no mention of coloreds, unless you're singing along to your favorite rap song. You can do that, but that's only the time you can give an N-bomb. Do you understand me?" And like, "Yes, sir, we understand. Tell me about yourself, young man." Who was that nerdy dude?
Elvin.
He's like, "Tell me about yourself. What do you do? What do you want out of this?" "Well, I'm a sharecropper, and I just don't want to get killed." "I can work with that." "Now let's get to work, young man. Let's do it."
Training montage.
I've been wearing a shirt for too damn long.
So the guys are, it's Tony, Butch, and Steve, like up on a little hill, and they have their army uniforms on again, just to show their,
And like
status.
Steve looking totally 80s. Like he's like that's what I love about Steve James. Like, I look good this way. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck if it's a period piece or not. He's got a muscle shirt on, I think, at
Yes.
this time. Black leather gloves on. Little skinny shoelace headband.
Yeah. So we start our training montage. We got them jogging through the woods. Of course, good cardio. That's how you make a good soldier. You got team climbing up a hill. There's a rope, and they're helping each other
Fat
up.
Man! Move it! And he's slapping Fat Man on the ass.
Yep.
Jesus.
We're learning how to sneak, on knees and elbows and everything.
Doing the old football thing with the tires, where you got to run through the tires.
Of course. And this is where we get that all-important how to cut sleeves. And Steve, I'm serious. Like I'm gonna try to get this clip and put it up on Instagram, and that way at least 3 people can appreciate it. But
no, I think people are gonna come back. We're not talking. If you think this movie's controversial, fuck you. You shouldn't be listening to our show. All right, that's all I got to say.
But hearing Steve actually explain to people how to cut sleeves and why to cut sleeves is gold.
Because he explains it almost like, I think he said like that's another war, like a sleeve in my biceps, like they're at war with each other. I literally think he said that.
That sounds right.
And he's like, I have to like, and he kind of like chuckles at it too. But he's like, it's kind of the truth. I mean, look at these biceps.
See, we're at the end of the day here. It's like 5 o'clock. They're knocking off for dinner and everything. Right. So they do this, and then right after they learn how to brew coffee over an open fire. They're handing out mugs and everything. And then we just cut back to them running in place.
They're like living and sleeping out in the woods.
Yeah. And, we're on day 2 apparently now because we're having a water break, and Belle's got rice and beans ready with cornbread for everybody.
It looked like slop. I don't know what the fuck it was.
I mean, it wasn't
see the cornbread.
It wasn't solid food, so
chili. I don't know.
I figured it was just some beans or something. Which good fiber, good protein. I keep you running.
Big shit out in the woods.
Yeah, I'll keep you shitting too.
And we get a little look between Steve and Belle.
Oh gosh,
like,
she threw an extra slop of beans on there for him.
Like, thank you, ma'am.
She wants a little more of that taste to Steve James, if you catch my drift. She's even into his farts, man. That's what I'm saying. It was a fart joke.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I get a little crude sometimes.
Stench of Steve. So everything's working great for the black people. They're finally getting some confidence because Steve inspires. That's what he does. Next day, Sheriff Jake, he is like worried as fuck. There's a council meeting of all the crackers in town. The most prominent white people in town are meeting.
I couldn't tell. Was the circuit judge in here? Because he's supposed to be in town at this point.
I don't know. The mayor's there.
They never pointed him out.
Mayor Michael Moore is there. I didn't know. The documentary Michael Moore was also racist, but he's there. He's the mayor. We get Cook. He's there. I guess he's the one, like, it's like Fox News. They have the one liberal, like, that gets his job
to get beat on and everything.
Yeah, and then there's some other the bankers there.
Yeah,
some other fucking prominent white
people.
And
this is going really interesting because Jake rolls in. He's sweating profusely. He's spitting chew everywhere. He's disgusting.
They're gonna take away our life.
Y'all know why we're here, so let's hear what the sheriff has to say.
Now, this might sound dumb to all you real smart folks, but I'm telling you, I got a feeling that the ninjas are planning some violence around here. All the young bucks are nowhere to be found. Everybody else is acting strange. I went to the church when they were having a meeting, and every ninja in town was there, even the winos.
Well, what's wrong with everybody being in church at the same time? Ninja. Have a God, too. Jake, I don't think you understand that times are changing around here.
Oh, I understand. I can feel it right here in this room. Now, I'm telling you that the ninjas are up to something.
I don't think we have a problem, Jake. Uncle Willie, my houseboy, has been acting just fine. Still grinning and dancing around.
We do have a problem, Mr. Mayor. The problem is, our sheriff has outlived his time.
Well, here, Sheriff Jake, here's the thing you need to realize. Times, they are a-changing. I watched this movie, The Green Book. Really is making me think differently. Maybe we should give these black folks some fried chicken.
Right, and then Vince, apparently the biggest wrestling promoter in town's there, Vince McMahon Sr.
Vince McMahon Sr.
And he's like, my houseboy, Jefferson, he loves sing and dance, and he can headbutt like a motherfucker. And he's like, I'm telling you, they're going to take our way of life. You understand me? You can't give them any rights. And they're like, times are changing, boy.
Yeah, another person telling him, times are changing. And then he's like, they were all in church together. And one guy was just like, well, how else do you have church? Usually everybody gets together.
Is that a southern accent? Hey there.
I was going
John
for like a
DeHart?
dorky guy because there was a little guy in there.
That was the very John DeHart. There.
Okay, it was John DeHart. Whatever.
Blacks have a God too. Why wouldn't they pray to him together? Everyone sounds like Foghorn Leghorn.
Tom. Why am I on my fourth accent? It was supposed to be my dorky guy. But again, Toms are everyone's throwing in Jake's face, and it's just driving him nuts because he's used to the white folk being like, "I love it when you kill black folk."
Right, like giving him carte blanche.
Yeah, exactly.
That means white card.
Hey, they're okay with that because that's a French thing. But they
freedom
are still a
fries.
little,
Freedom
iffy on the
fries.
French. Yeah. So yeah, they all laugh at
And
him.
he's just like, "Well, they're gonna take out while your life is dying." He just slams the door and pouts.
All right, taste of Steve James coming, everybody. Get your lips ready for it. Get your ears ready for it, because we're going back for some close quarter combat. Got to learn how to fisticuffs, you know?
Yeah, and Steve is just kicking ass. He's just doing all his fucking American Ninja moves on everybody, punching people in the dick.
Yeah. Getting everybody, throwing them around, judo Gene LaBelle style.
So after he punches every guy in the town in the dick, he's like, "All right, break." And then he's like, "Let me show you." He's like, "You thought the sleeves was awesome. Check this out." Pulls out, takes a shoestring off his shoe, headband. And I love it. Every black guy is so inspired. They all have headbands for the rest of the movie.
Yep.
And he's like, "This is like our war paint, you know? And we're getting a word of war, but it's headbands."
Yeah.
And they love it.
And as we saw with the first montage, after you do that, you're getting into the fun part of the night. So they have some nice fireside chats. They're joking around.
Telling ghost stories and shit.
And then the morning cuts in. They're doing jumping jacks. They're run, stopping, and then like shooting. It's like that Olympic ski cross-country
4 days,
shooting.
and they're like a well-oiled machine. They're like fucking the Green Berets practically.
When you have a great teacher, it's all it
They're
takes.
the Black Berets.
Yeah, the Black Berets. Anyways, Jake, we're going back to our old racist sheriff. He is rolling up to Belle's house again, and you know what? It's nighttime.
Well, he's worried because he heard that all the young black men have disappeared from town.
Yeah.
Where are they at?
Yeah. So it's nighttime. So all these the Black Berets, they're in the woods still. You know, they're still doing their training and everything. And so Belle's all by herself. Pauline has started staying with her because of obviously the situation and all that.
Very traumatic situation.
Uh-huh. So Jake rolls up, knocks on the door. Did you think about
Pauline
that?
should be in a catatonic state like Paul Kirsty's daughter. I would understand that.
Yeah.
If she had to be institutionalized.
I think she is reacting to it better than most of our victims in movies, though. So Jake rolls up. Did you think about that offer? Spitting up everywhere, just disgusting. He's always wearing that one fucking overall suit, the coverall suit.
Well, no, he's wearing like the sheriff's like outfit, but he's constant state of moist. He's always sweaty. It's a great actor, dude, because he's gross. He like makes me hate him.
Exactly.
He's doing a great job. He's like always sweaty.
I don't know. Maybe that
pit stains nonstop.
He's building up everybody to hate him. We're just so eager to see Steve James punch him in the face, and it's working.
Right. So Belle grabs that gun, and she's like,
because Jake just walks right in. He just opens the door himself.
Well, that's what he does. He's swinging tiny dick.
I wouldn't call that a swinging dick, then.
And he's like, well, he's got like a pendulum hanging from it.
It's a little peeping dick. Just peeking out.
I know something's going on with you folk. You best tell me. And like Pauline's like, kill that motherfucker, kill him.
I love this side of Pauline.
And he's like, no. He's like, I'm gonna get out of here now. But I'm on to you folk.
I know you're up to something. And Pauline, anytime you want it, this big old white dick waiting for you.
Oh, you want this little button here? All you got to do is push it.
I can see it in your eye that you want it.
I can't see my own dick, but I know you can see it. And I know you like it.
All right, so Quint.
It's been a week. Quint's like, you're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready. We're ready to take over this fucking town of Riverbend.
He's standing up on a truck. It's nighttime. He's only being illuminated by the fire. It's a beautiful shot. John DeHart's on set here for this shot because the fireside lighting, it's a John DeHart touch. Sam Furstenberg knows his shit.
Exactly.
He got John DeHart in for the lighting because he knows his shit.
John was like, you sure you ain't going to need any ice cubes? No, Steve's nipples are perfectly fine.
I saw the way that Belle woman was looking at you. You might want some ice cubes when you get with her.
So Steve lays it out. He's like, look, I trained you to be a killing machine, but there'll be no killing. and there'll be no looting, and there'll be no revenge. This is about justice.
What about the sheriff?
I'll take care of the sheriff. No one is to mess with the sheriff but me. And they're like, okay, whatever you say. They all got their shoestring headbands on. They're ready to go.
Yep. They put their hands in.
And
they
then
do
he
a
said,
little
you know,
chant.
he said, tomorrow we're going to do this, and they immediately do it. I guess they just cut to the next night.
Well, they had maybe they cut to the next night. Maybe they just rolled out right then because they all go into town and they're getting set up in their strategic locations.
Right.
And don't you love Steve's? Because Steve's is just wait in front of the sheriff's door, like he's hiding behind a banister, basically.
He's crouching.
Yeah, and
He's doing an AW. He's peeking over the edge of the porch. Yeah, that's his plan. He's like, and it works. They don't see him. Apparently, the sheriff has barricaded himself in his office.
This is crazy. It's the middle of the night, like I said, where they're getting into position.
This guy never goes home.
Yeah, he lives in the sheriff's office, which we've seen the inside of. It's literally just a desk and the cell.
Right.
So it just so happened that Barney was coming in to give him some Chick-fil-A or something. Right. I don't know what he had
Sucking
for him.
on that fucking cigar. I don't want to like this. I want a taste of this.
And so... Oh, I actually have his real name in there. It was Hugo.
Okay.
But it's Barney. So, yeah, Barney goes up there, knocks on the door, he gets let in, and Steve is right there behind him.
He just kicks that door in like only Steve James can do. And he takes over.
Yeah, he locks up Barney and Jake. The rest of the Black Berets, they go around. They're scattered across town.
Right.
And they're getting all the white folk out.
Round up all the white people.
Yeah, and they're not doing it kindly. They're aggressively getting them out.
And we have another contingent of the Black Berets who are barricading the one bridge into town, and they're putting dynamite to it. They're not fucking around.
Yeah, apparently there's only one bridge into town.
Yeah, I just said that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was reading ahead. So they're getting it all ready. They're dynamiting. They're setting up bombs all over the place. They're getting all...
Tripwires, tiger traps. They're just doing it all.
They set up like a sniper tower up on the roofs and everything. And, we get Quint. And
Quint's like, I need to talk to the mayor. Somebody get me the mayor. Mayor Michael Moore.
Mayor Michael Moore.
So Michael Moore shows up. He's fucking sloppy as ever. He's got the Tigers cap on.
He was just saying... Times are a-changing. Right. He was this guy.
He meant times are changing after I'm gone.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still want shit to be this way.
Right.
So he's like, what are you boy doing? Are you crazy? Why is the sheriff locked up and you black people are on the other side of the bars? And like Steve's like, look, there's the new sheriff in town.
Yeah.
And it's me.
And we're ushering in. We see the Black Berets ushering all the white people into the church again. God works in a mysterious way. 2,500 white people ushered into the same church. And this is where we get Cook showing his true center side because he steps up. You guys are doing this the wrong way.
Jacob, what's going on here? What's the meaning of all this?
What are you doing talking to that ninja?
He's my friend. Jacob, you listen. This is not the way. I was going to Atlanta to try to do something about these problems. Now you folks got a whole lot bigger problem.
I was gonna go down and get the authorities for you. You should have waited for me to do this, guys. I was gonna do it for you. You couldn't have gone 5 days ago. Steve James has not only met a new woman, he has completely made her fall in love with him. And Cook is like, I was gassing up my car to go.
He's green booking him. He's like, I was gonna save you.
That's why I'm saying, like,
and now you get this guy. What?
I don't like Cook.
Neither did the guys. Like, look, you've been good to us. Get the fuck in that church or I shoot you in the face.
Yeah, but you've been doing it in your own way, which is fucking bullshit, so we're doing it now. All right, next morning, they put in a call. They finally call up, I guess the next
Elvin?
town's over
was that
police.
That guy, Elvin, the nerdy black guy?
Was
Elvin?
it Elvin? Maybe it was.
I don't know. You told me it was earlier.
Oh, you're saying it was Elvin, but you don't remember the name?
Yeah.
Okay,
Was his name Elvin?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. So he's just like, I called the governor and they just laughed at us.
Oh.
Steve's like, that's cool, as long as they know.
As long as they know.
So instead of the governor coming up, the state police show up. And they see that the bridge has got two barricades, one at one end, one at the other end. And what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, they're just like, fuck it. And they start, he sends his, the sheriff sends in the other dude. Or were they all just state police?
They're all state police.
Yes, he still sends like the other guy over and everything, and he gets shot at. Like, everybody pops up and starts shooting at him.
Yeah,
they're
Butch-
shooting around him.
Yeah,
they're not trying
shooting,
to hit him.
They're just trying to get him to back off.
Yep.
And Butch tells what Steve wants him to say is like, look, get the governor and the press here, and I think it was like in 1 hour or something. Like, because he said, he said in 1 hour, our boss Quentin's coming out, and he will give you a harder demand.
Yeah, he'll meet with you on the bridge and give you a talking to, but, you got to start getting camera crews and all that shit in here.
So we get a great Sam Furstenberg shot where we see a hand with the sheriff's belt with the gun, and it hands it off. You think it's going to go to the sheriff. No, Steve grabs that belt and puts it on.
Oh, that shot was beautiful. Boy, I didn't think I'd live to see the day my gun would be on a black man's waist. And he, of course, did not say the black word. He said the other
shuts
one.
him down. Now you have. And just walks out. Didn't even give him the time of day.
That beautiful. You think the Sheriff Jake's racism would have faded away by the taste of Steve James. But apparently it's not potent enough to cut through racism.
Well, he sees what Steve is packing, and he's jealous.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. He's just putting on the front. He's actually falling in love with Steve James. Because how could you not?
He probably is, and he's fucking up his shit. He's like, I like black dick now?
That would be very confusing.
And then Barney's just stroking, deep throating that fucking cigar. He's like, maybe you do, Sheriff. I don't know.
That would be very, very, very confusing. I bet if it weren't for this whole situation, the sheriff would have killed himself afterwards because, he lost Steve James.
That makes sense. So Steve heads out. He meets with the chief of police. Like, look, we want the government and the press here. We want a full investigation into the rapes and assaults committed by the sheriff's office. And if we don't get that in 24 hours, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed. And he's like, well, I don't take no orders from black people. Look, do what I say. There'll be bloodshed. He grumbles and goes back to his people. I think he calls up like the fucking chief of police or some shit. And they're like, whatever you do, just get those black people out of there. So their great plan is, we'll just go down the river about half a mile and sneak across the river.
Of course. I mean, they got a little bit of, some crew to work with at this point. Sneak them in the back way. There's two guys waiting up on a hill.
Mike's one of them.
And they're starting to climb up it, but of course, Quint has a guy positioned right there.
Right.
It's just so strategic.
Every angle.
And we get a gunfight. They're opening fire.
But the black guys are only shooting to injure. They're not shooting to kill. They shoot the dudes in the legs.
Okay.
But Mike, the other side doesn't care. So Mike gets shot.
Yeah.
And Mike dies.
Oh man! But the police do.
Because that's the thing. The cops even get back to the head, and they're like, they didn't try to kill us. They could have killed us, and they didn't.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah.
So Quint is actually being radioed about Mike. Getting the gunfire and all that, the whole action and everything. And we go over to Tony. He's not happy to hear about this. He demands a sacrifice. They will not respect us unless we kill one of these whiteys. Look at these people. We need to kill one of them.
And then Quentin puts the hand up. Look, man. And then puts his hand down. And then Tony just fucking goes off in a huff. He's like, I have to check the lines. Chill out. So Tony's like, fuck this shit. He goes up to Elvin. He's like, give me the keys. And he's like, what you gonna do? You'll see what I'm going to do. That's all we did in the Nam.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to get you guys your revenge.
This is good because Elvin, you're seeing the power of Tony working on people because they've been living in this town for so long. You think they would feel this way about Sheriff Jake. They would want to see something happen to him.
Right.
And without Steve James being present there, that calm taste of Steve James, they fell for Tony and his...
it wore off. The taste of Steve James wore off, and they're back to, legitimately being pissed off with Sheriff Jake. Sheriff Jake is just dropping M-bombs left and right, and he's roasting them from his cell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't think of... Never mind. I always do that. I set myself up for something that I have no idea what to do with. A dog chasing a car.
So Tony, you're much like Tony, because he really doesn't know what he's doing, because he's like, Michael Moore, Sheriff Jake... come out with.
Oh, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's unlike Griff. He knew exactly what he was doing.
He's not doing the right thing though.
Yeah.
So he takes him to the town gazebo, and they're surrounded, and they're like, pulls out 2 knives. You 2 crackers are going to fight for us. And fucking Sheriff Jake's licking his lips. He just likes to kill.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if it's white or black.
Yeah,
And
Jake was unfazed by it. And meanwhile, Mayor Michael Moore, he's like, "What, Jake? We can't do this. We're white men. We're civilized. We're not like them." It's like, all the mayor's racism is coming out now. We're not animals. So this knife fight, not much going on here. I wanted to be like, the premise of this knife fight is amazing, right?
Yeah.
I would have liked to see the Jet style, where the Jets versus whatever in West Side Story.
Sharks.
The Sharks, where they tie the wrists together,
Or like from the Beat It video.
Or like the Beat It video, yeah. We could have used some good music for this, too.
We had some Eddie Van Halen solo with done on a Casio. Very 8-bit.
Just you doing that is already better than the music in this
I think
movie.
their music was just dun dun dun.
Hey, not everybody can do 1 or 2 notes like John Carpenter and make it work, you know? So you get a few like slash shots.
Obviously, the mayor's never been in a fight, at least, and even any fight, let alone a knife fight,
right?
Because his offense is throw myself on the knife.
Yes,
and that's what he does. He just throws himself on Sheriff Jake's knife, and he goes, "Oh!" farts and then dies. And Quentin finally shows up. I think somebody warned him. I don't know. Didn't Bell warn him or something?
I think Bell did. Yeah.
And
he shows up just in time to see it happen. You got Tony up on the gazebo watching it, like Tim Murray in a fight ring watching his employees. What do you even call your participants?
I don't know what this dead weight. I don't know what the fuck you call it. I never thought about it. Do I have to give them health insurance?
No.
Come say if they're my employees.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know what to call them.
Sorry, it's work for hire.
What do
it's like WWF. It's work for hire.
I was going to say, well, we are work for right state,
right.
So of course. I mean, you're doing this below board, so it's not like we need to worry about that.
Yeah, I'm not giving you a 401k, motherfucker.
so if you want to make quick money, go to Tim Murray for some fight ring action. Right. If you want some health insurance,
if you are enough strong, come to me. So yeah, so even like Quentin's like, what a bitch! He just threw himself on a knife. But Tony, that ain't cool. I told you, no killing.
Yeah.
Tony's like, fuck this shit. I'm sick of this bullshit.
You could see that Tony was jealous that he wasn't the person who got to stab.
Nobody wants to taste of Tony.
Nobody wants to taste of Tony, unfortunately. So we're gonna get a little bit of fighting between Tony and Quentin. The two had, you saw this coming from the very get-go. You saw that the friction was building. He's got this taste of Steve James, but he's a man of bitter taste.
He wants to taste the blood of Steve James.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
And so, but Steve just handles him pretty easily.
It was a long fight, though.
Yes.
It was Steve 2 minutes.
It was a showcase of Steve.
Yeah, it was. Like,
he roundhouses him.
Tony gets a kick or punch or two
Tippy taps him a couple times.
But ultimately, Quint is just like, I've had enough. And he delivers the big fucking hand of stone punch.
And then Tony's like, he's out on his feet, but he has enough energy to throw one last punch. Steve just doesn't even look at it, just catches it up the corner of his eye. Enough. We're done with this. Then Tony just collapses.
They take Jake back into the cell. Now we see back over at the bridge the reporters who all came in the same car, very right. Environmentally aware of them to all use
carbon
one car.
Footprint, not big. Fake news though.
The police are fucking pissed. Why are you guys here? You can't be here. We have the right to be here. This is the public. Yeah, but they have guns and they're black people over there, so you don't want to be here. You'll be harmed. They're monsters. They're animals.
And so they just go, no, this is our First Amendment right. We're going to stick around. Next day, Quentin's having doubts. I mean, he saw it's like one of his best men just turned on him. So he goes to Butch. He's like, am I doing right? And like Butch goes, look, You're the greatest. I've had a taste of you, and I like that taste. It's delicious, yummy. Licks his lips a couple times. You're doing God's work, Quentin. Don't give up the fight. We're going to save the city.
Yeah.
And we're going to save ourselves.
So we got the police planning out their attack now. They've got like the whole fucking SWAT team there.
They actually have black berets. Literally.
Yeah.
These guys wearing black berets.
They got tanks. They got missiles. They're ready to go. They're about ready to just.
Because they
nuke
found
this down.
one chink in Steve's plan. There's like one section of the river. It's like a swampy area. Like we can get across that way.
It's always the swampy area.
Always.
That's why we got to drain the swamp.
True. So Quentin, he's with Belle, and he's just like, "Look, I don't care anymore about this court-martial thing. I just want my day in court. It's all I care about, and I might go away for a long time." Bear in mind, gave up on her husband 3 days after he died. She's like, "I will wait for you till the day I die if it takes that."
The
long.
taste of Steve James hits women differently.
Yes,
it just does.
Oh,
It's just science, you know. But she rifles right back with him. Can a black man really get justice? Either way, I can wait for you. Days, months, years, centuries. Together in heaven, we could be together. Even in heaven, she's like, I'll fucking stiff arm my husband. I want you.
He's like, whoa, baby. Heaven, that's a little heavy for me.
I know a couple other women that are above you here. Like, you're just local.
So while they're talking, the SWAT team moves in. They get across that swampy area.
They have the shoot to kill order. We already knew this, but they specify shoot to kill.
So they're getting ready. They're looking for the church with all the white folk at. They're looking where's Quentin at. And while that's going on, Pauline justifiably is like, look, I have to kill this Jabba the Hutt motherfucker.
You see, we're entering the final stage of the movie here, so we got to burn the candle from both ends. We got to bring all kinds of new friction into this, new tension. So we got the white folks sneaking in, and we have Pauline just flying off the handle, causing all kinds of a ruckus because, like you said, very justifiably, she's like, I want to fucking murder this man.
She comes in with a shotgun, and Steve and Belle are like, look, this isn't the way. And she's like, you weren't raped by this guy. Like, they're kind of thinking, like, maybe she's right. I mean, but then Belle gives a nice speech. She's crying. She's like, we're not family, but we're like family.
Yeah.
I don't want you to go to jail for this fucking guy. Meanwhile, Jake balls of steel.
Jeez.
He's just fucking roasting everybody, dropping N-bombs left and right.
Barney's in the back, just fucking sucking off that cigar like a madman. He's just all kinds of excited. His shirt's open, nipples are out, ice cubes on the nipples.
And he's like, woo! Belle, maybe I should have raped your ass the last time I was there.
Jeez.
And then Quentin's like, look, man, that's not cool. How about you and me take it outside?
It was a step too far. You can't.
But much like when Obama would get that shit, like, you lie and all that shit, he just fucking was cool and chill about it. He didn't react. He's like, look, let's take it outside. Well, about time we did it, boy. I've been kicking your African American asses for years. I ain't scared. Meanwhile, Steve fucking James is like built like a Greek god. This is some fat old dude. Like, even think that this is the epitome of white privilege. He thinks he can kick Steve James' ass. He really believes that.
100%. The power of racism, he thought, could carry him to victory. But we already know. We've been building it up. Everybody is watching this movie not realizing the subtext, the taste of Steve James. But as we mentioned, the sheriff has got the taste of Steve James in his mouth now. So even
he doesn't like it.
Even if the power of racism could compel him to victory, it's not going to help him here because he's got the taste of Steve James in him now. He can't do anything about it. So he gets out there. He's looking sluggish as shit.
Well, it's a very bizarrely lit scene. I get why, because obviously they're trying to hide the stuntman. So they're doing everything they can to hide the Jake stuntman.
Yes,
because he gets a chain and he's like covering his fucking face and like swinging the chain above his head.
Yep, I noticed that
too. So you
too.
can't see that he's a stuntman, and fucking Steve just beats. This is probably almost as realistic as the kid falling through the drop ceiling last week. He just pummels the shit out of the fucking Jake. I don't think Jake gets any fucking moves in.
He gets a couple attempts. He swings a stick. He swings that. He gets nothing in. And you know what? It's exactly what the audience wanted to see.
That's exactly what would happen in real life.
100%. No one's fucking with Steve James. Peak Steve James, come the fuck on. The taste of Steve James is strong. Anyways,
pungent.
He calls for some guys like the end of There Will Be Blood. I'm done. I'm finished with him. Come get him. And people have to pick him up because he's just battered and bloodied and just disgusting and still spitting out chew somehow.
And he's just vomiting chew. It's just
disgusting.
And he's like, fuck it. I just got my ass handed to me. I don't care anymore. So he grabs a gun out of a guy's belt
as they're putting him back into the cell.
Shoots Elvin, I think.
Yep.
And then, thankfully, Pauline was there. Shoots him in the dick, and he's like, "My dick!" And they just leave him in the cell.
Yeah. Anyways,
so Tony's like, "I got to get something out of this. I'm not going to get laid. I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to go rob the bank."
Yeah.
So he goes. I love this scene because he goes to the church, and he's like, "Where's the banker at?" And like, he's right here. And then they're holding these people hostage for days. But he gently wakes the banker up. He's like, "Get up, sir. Are you all right?" "Oh, what's going on?" "No, we just need to talk to you for a minute. Is that okay with you?" "Oh, sure." And then Tony takes him to the bank, and he's like, "Open this fucking bank. I'm taking all this money."
Yeah.
And
I love that it was packed into a satchel with the $sign on it.
I love that too.
Very happy about that.
And just as he's about to make his escape, the SWAT team shows up.
Oh, yeah.
And they just fucking unload on Tony, kill his ass.
Yep, of course they did. I mean, come on. He ran, which we know you can never run if you're black and around the cops, especially not a SWAT team, or sleep, or just live, Mm-hmm. So, yeah, of course, poor old Tony's going to get shot. And I didn't like how our Black Berets walk out of the sheriff's station like, were those gunshots? What's going on over here? It's very much like Run, Hide, Fight. They're like confused. Did we hear gunshots? What's going on? So
it's a big gunfight, but what's going on? Butch's contingent show up, and they can't. They because like the SWAT team's spread out. There's one looking for the church with the white people, and then there's ones that are going to take out the black people. Butch gets that one under control. They surround all of the killing SWAT team.
But one SWAT member does make it into the church.
Kills Fat Man.
He kills Fat Man. He did?
He did kill Fat Man.
Oh, man. What
Fat
about
Man
Robin?
and Gus got killed.
And Gus?
Yeah.
What about Robin?
Robin made it out.
Okay, good. So, I'll take over the Fat Man cowl. So, our SWAT member...
Huh? Fat Man's muffler he's going to take.
God damn it. Really? Really? I'm just trying to get back on track and you just slip a muffler in me?
Yeah.
Ugh, Murray. You were so mad at me last week when I slipped that in there. Ugh. Anyways.
This one fit, though.
So sure it did.
The muffler fit. You must have quit.
So our SWAT member who has snuck into the church, killed Fat Man apparently, and stolen his muffler.
He was wearing blackface to blend in. You didn't see that?
I did notice that. It was very.
Unfortunately, it was a mask, like Cotton Comes to Harlem.
Yeah. So he
calls it in.
He's radioing it in. Guys, I made it in. I got it. I got all the white folk. We're all safe. Go ahead and start bombing this place. But just before he can say over on the walkie-talkie, Steve just...
And then we see the barrel of the gun, slow, great Sam Furstenberg direction. It pulls away. It's our boy Steve over his shoulder. "Oh, I don't think you have it under control."
Mm-mm. We hold off until tomorrow, noon. Have the press there. They'll be filming it.
And so the next day arrives. And it's just this is where it kind of falls apart. The movie kind of makes no sense.
Endings are hard.
Well, this was a very hard ending because Steve just throws caution in the wind. He doesn't care. Apparently, he believes if they just release the white people, which they do,
mm-hmm.
and they let the black people come to town, and if they just meet in the center of town, everything's fine.
Yeah,
that's his plan because the media will be there and they'll see. You would think these white people will be more racist and more pissed off that they've been held hostage, but somehow maybe they're finally, because some of these people, it's just they don't have any empathy. So they had something. It's like like Dick Cheney. Like he had to have a gay daughter
Yes.
to understand about. So they finally understood what black people were going through in this town. Maybe that's what happened.
Had to be pushed around by people with guns to understand, hey, this is no way to treat people. I'm sure, like, the only thing I'm confident about is that Cook took all the credit for it. I got all these white people to
did it.
I got them all to agree that black people are
You're
actually
right.
okay.
Cook is a piece. He's not even one of the. He's not one. Nobody's one of the good ones.
Exactly. There is no good white person in
Maybe
this movie.
Hugo. I don't know.
You know what? Maybe
you like
we
the
give
taste of Steve James. He's on a cigar.
Oh, that's a good point. So we actually do get the final moments of, and I kind of spoiled it there, but Jake's little goodbye to the world. Murray
Gives like a Hamlet level soliloquy.
My daddy told me before he left this shitty earth, an African American ain't ever gonna be nothing but an African American.
And then he just lets out a big fart and dies.
He forces himself to have a heart attack.
And then Barney's like crying over him. He's the one person who cared about Sheriff J. So this the media shows up. They just go across the bridge.
You got them all surrounding. You got the SWAT. You got the police. You got everybody surrounding them now. And then Cook steps up and he steps back.
And he goes, Quentin, we did good, didn't we?
Yeah.
Trying to get a little credit.
They do a handshake, and he says, everybody, this is how you do a black handshake.
And he fucked it up. But he tried.
He tried.
And then Quentin just like grabs Belle. He's like, as long as I have the love of a good woman, I don't care. Somehow everything's going to work out. I don't know how that's going to happen.
I noticed that.
You think they would just shoot Quentin just because he went for a gun?
Yeah. I noticed that, she's been with Steve for 4 days now. Her husband, as we discussed, his dick doesn't work. Belle was pregnant at the end there. Steve James, the taste of Steve James is so strong that it impregnated her. And
his penis impregnated her.
Well, yeah, his penis impregnated her. Yeah. But it's like instead of 9 months, it takes him 9 days. That's what I realized when I mathed it out.
This is, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
So she gives birth like that day?
2 days later.
That's why she doesn't need her son anymore?
Yeah. That's why she gave up on the old son. She's going to get a new, better one. He's probably going to come out, he or she is probably going to come out with a full mustache.
Yeah.
That'd be a curse if you're a girl, but,
Steve James' sperm is too potent to give a girl child. So, yeah.
It was a fun trip to Riverbend.
Yeah. It's sad that, one less Steve James movie to do, but,
I know.
We got to do them.
We have to.
All right, next week. If you listen to us, nobody loves America better than me and Griff.
We love our flags. We wave them every day. We often paint our chests with American flags.
We do that.
Yes.
And the only thing we do love more than America is our military. We can't stop. Whenever we see someone in the military, we go, "Thank you for your service."
It doesn't.
And I don't drop it on anybody. I drop it on heroes. The last time I said thank you for your service, you know who I said it to? I'll tell you. Pete Sampras.
Pete
at Wimbledon. I said thank you for your service because I don't throw it around like a lot of people do. It's got to mean something to me.
And Pete really spoke to you?
He could serve like a motherfucker. He's an acing machine.
I see what you did there. You motherfucker.
That went right over your head.
Oh, well, I knew you were talking. Well, no, it didn't go over my head. I just didn't expect you to talk about Pete Sampras. I understand it completely. I'm a tennis god.
Wow, another accolade.
Yeah.
So next week, we're not talking about tennis. We're talking about the greatest military force of all time, Navy SEALs. I've never seen this movie. Griff has never seen this movie. It's got Charlie Sheen. It's got Michael Biehn. We were talking with Stuart about earlier.
Oh.
It's got one of my favorite Bill Paxtons in it, too.
We're finally getting a little... I'm pretty sure he's in it. Is Busey in it?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm getting confused. Okay. Because I've been fucking clamoring for a Busey movie for a while.
I only know it's a movie where we kill good guys kill bad guys.
Yeah.
By bad guys, I mean Islamic terrorists. So join us next week for that. Navy SEALs, keep it warm. And have a taste of Steve James.
Taste of Steve James.
It seems like we're so far apart. Can we really work it out? I don't want to live another day behind a wall of doubt. Oh, when I do I've got feelings just like you. Why can't you take me as I